show. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing so good, Aldo. I mean, I'm doing so good. It's almost criminal, to be honest with you. I love the Open. It's sort of like an '80s sitcom type of thing. We come on smiling, and then you come on, Aldo. The wacky sidekick. The whole ball of wax.
Exactly. That was
ABC,
what I was aiming for.
ABC every Thursday night at 8:00.
Exactly.
With the music and everything. And we were talking this morning on Twitter. I was gabbing with some people because that's what I do. Twitter, what an outlet, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, Musk, get it together. I wouldn't pay $44 billion for anything, but that's beside the point.
Yeah,
okay?
really.
Hi, I like you. Do you like me? I want this place. Come on, I hate the Bears. No, you don't. I gotta buy this company. But yeah, absolutely insane. But anyway, to talk about what's going on, a lot of exciting things happening. We got I'll tell you what happened with me is the Bears bar room. Of course, there's always been a testing. Before you really launch, you do a number of tests. Well, that's what the bar room has been. My laboratory, our laboratory, and I got to do all sorts of different things. And lo and behold, ESPN 1000 calls me. Other people start calling me because you put your product on display. And that's what we do here every week. Mm-hmm. We put our product on display. But one thing I was bothered by is the last few weeks, I said, I'm tired of just picking like 2 or 3 games out of like 6 I may have. Mm-hmm. Why don't I put them all together, pick them one day? Now, my buddy Jesse Rogers says, you know what, Mike, I like when you and Carmen and you and Aldo do 2 or 3 picks. Mm-hmm. It compacts it more. And and I said last week, I'm going to try to make all the picks for this week and see what happens with the NFL. Mm-hmm. So I said, I'm tired of going 1 and 2 when the 2 other picks I was going to make, I decided not to, and they both win.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put them all together. So I started out with the bar room last Sunday. Mm-hmm. And before we get to me, let's get to you. You went 2-0, I believe, right?
I did go 2-0, and my big pick was the Jets upsetting Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field, and I feel pretty good about myself, so I'm going to pat myself on the back.
That's your own horn, man.
Yeah, 7-5 is my record since we've been doing this show.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So then I said to myself, I said, here's what I got to do. I'm going to pick all the games. So last week I go 7-6-1. So I said, okay, I won. It's almost like picking one game and going 1-0. Huh. Just pick the whole damn board. But there's going to be a week, and I've had them, where you go, this is the truth, folks. I'm not going to lie. I've been betting since I was 14. One week I went 1-14. 2 other weeks I went 15-1 and 14-2. It's happened. Mm-hmm. So you have good and you have bad. There might be a week I pick every game and it's a loser. Mm-hmm. But last week I go 7-6-1. So I go Friday, we go into the odds couple, and you get that on podcast on the ESPN 1000 app. I said, you know what? I told Carmen and Randy that I'm going to pick 6-7 games. And they thought I was nuts because I've always been about this money management. But I've been, middling with AM 1000 the last few weeks with picks. So I picked like 8 games. 6-1 right now. 6-1 for the weekend. But here was my challenge. I picked them in 4 or 5 different sports. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You got your singer like Sinatra, but then you got your entertainer like Sammy Davis Jr., comedian, actor, can play musical instruments, hell of a tap dancer, multitask, multi-handicap. So I take Friday. I take the Hawks, Blackhawks over 6.5. It goes to 7. I take the Phillies in a pick'em. They beat San Diego. I take TCU yesterday, but they knock off Kansas State.
How about that?
I take I right now, as far as the pro game is concerned, today I got Indianapolis, but I also took Denver and the over against Golden State. They both hit on the bonus pick. So I'm going to pick all the games again today.
Nice.
Here on this show. Yeah, including the Bears, ladies and gentlemen, which we have a huge game coming up, right?
It's a huge game. By the way, Chris Watts, with tongue firmly planted in cheek, asked, how did Mike bet before it was legal?
Apparently Chris didn't. I could take Chris back. There was a bookie on every corner back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
You know, like grocery stores, mom and pop grocery stores. I booked out of my hot dog stands. So, I mean, everybody from hot dog stands, big time back room of bars, you know,
Mhm.
Bakeries. It didn't matter. Tool and die shop, you know,
Mhm.
guy comes in for a hammer. He ends up putting $50 down on the Giants and walks out, you know.
I
That's the
remember a
way it was.
guy, I used to work with a guy named Jim Shiplick, and he used to work in a newspaper stand, and that newspaper stand was the place to lay down your bet.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way it was, and I thought it was going to be legalized gambling in the 90s. I mean, I had my show in 1989 on 1240 WSBC broker time, and I thought it's a few years away, and lo and behold, it's just coming into fruition now.
Q from Cincy says, my granddad had a guy who did numbers. I think
Yep.
everybody has, not everybody, but probably 40% of the population has had some family member involved in the numbers.
Oh yeah, the numbers racket's big, especially in the poor areas, the black areas back in the day. Not
Mhm.
that they didn't play them in, they played them in the Italian areas back when most neighborhoods in Chicago, especially, were segregated. I mean, segregated like you wouldn't believe. Okay, this is Madison. That's as far as you go. And then they go, and that's as far as you go. So you go north and we go south and leave us alone. And everybody used to go, okay. And everybody was happy. Okay. You know?
So true.
So it's honest to God truth. So yeah, everybody had numbers too. So I mean, there's been lotteries going on for 30s, 40s. I mean, the big bookmakers back in the day did horse racing in the 40s, 50s, horse racing, baseball, boxing, the three biggest ones.
Yeah, indeed, man.
Like talking to Mark Twain, isn't it? Sort of like talking to Will Rogers about the days of yesteryear.
It brings back so many memories, and the younger people in the audience are probably freaking out that that's how things were done back then. It was all face to face for the most part. Yeah, you make a phone call in certain instances, but a lot of the times it was face to face. And
I had squares, Super Bowl squares at all my hot dog stands, and the squares were literally taped to the counter. So when you come up to order, there's the square.
That's wild.
You'd see factory workers, people that worked at the bank. The big players were the cops from Albany Park.
I was going to ask you about that because you had a lot of police officers.
Yeah, we never got robbed. Isn't that amazing? I went in there. It looks like an easy mark, except for the 5 cops sitting there eating.
Exactly.
We never had a problem. You'd see the cops filling it out back when Chicago was open. Back when that was law breaking. That was acceptable.
Yeah.
The nonsense now, where somebody comes in and brings in the shopping cart and loads it up and then walks. That never happened back then. We just did like little things like gambled on football and stuff.
There you go. Good old days, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let us talk now a little bit about the bad old days, the Chicago Bears. They now have lost 2 in a row. Their record is 2-4. The offense is the worst in the National Football League. The defense has been really playing just well enough to keep the Bears in games, but the offense can't get over the goal line, especially when they're in the red zone. Your thoughts?
Absolutely right, Al. I mean, I think that they can go to New England and win that game. I mean, is Brady back? Is Brady back with him? Is Gronk playing for him? Is Vince Wilfork still in the front of the line? I mean, is Randy Moss still a wide receiver? I mean, so I look at New England and Mac Jones. Is he going to play? I'd rather play Mac Jones. I don't want Zappe. I mean, Zappe is the perfect guy to demonstrate how quarterbacks, no matter where they are or where they play in college, are overrated or underrated. Okay? Because Zappe played for Western Kentucky. And while we're waiting, along with other quarterbacks throughout the league, not just Justin, for them to come around and have more people around them and this and that, we're seeing a kid that was a 6th-round pick from Western Kentucky just dice people up. So I don't buy the nonsense. I think the teams, when they lose, they lose. It's not because of one guy, not because of 2 guys. It's because of the team. For instance, we talked about the Washington game. We talked about how that overthrow will be the play that stopped us from going 3-3. But Mooney dropped the ball that he should have scored a touchdown on.
Yep.
I talked to Carmen this past week, and he says to me, I go, Carm, we got a defeatist attitude in this town because people think that, 2-4, we're lucky that we beat San Francisco. And we both agreed. Carmen thinks we should have beat the Giants. And I know we should have beat Washington.
Yep.
So why can't we be 4-2? Why can't we be 3-3? I don't get it. This defeatist attitude, because and what really got me was I watched Kay Adams and Carmen Vitale talk about the Bears, asking about why are Bear fans unhinged. We're not unhinged, but we're also maybe twice as old as you guys that have seen this nonsense forever. Yeah. And I don't think you call a whole fan base unhinged because you have an opinion. And if anything, I think where you've seen the fan base unhinged was with the quarterback situation the last 4 years. People out of their minds. People want people out and bring another guy in that's not as good. Or maybe the offense isn't as good. So I heard him talk, and I heard Carmen say, this is what was supposed to happen. Why are Bear fans shocked? And my basic argument back to that is, well, then I guess the Giants are a disappointment. For supposedly they were going to be one of the worst teams in football. Okay, they got one loss. And my God, Aldo, Atlanta, how dare they? How dare they? They were by most people's account, the worst team in football. So what would the two ladies say about them if they were covering Atlanta sports? Sorry, they're not following the narrative. No, they're rising above it. I think the Bears should be 3-3 with any luck 4-2. Period. End of story. Because we have the best running game in football, and that's what I hope. I hope they run almost every play against New England and wear their asses down. Keep the game close with two quarterbacks that I'm not afraid of.
There was a game last year where the Patriots only ran the ball like 3 times. Yeah, there you go.
They passed it 3 times only.
That's what I meant. Yes.
Yeah, they passed it 3 times. Put it back in his kitchen. Because I'm telling you right now, that Bear game's winnable. It's a winnable game. We're not talking about the New England Patriots, folks. I mean, the New England Patriots. We're talking about the New England Patriots, like another football team. Belichick's a great coach, no doubt about it. And you always got to consider that. But I think, Eberflus, with execution by the players, they could be 3-3 and 4-2 right now, easily. Easily.
Mike, you make a really great argument. And, I do agree with you that this team could easily, have double the wins that it does now. And so that does say that we're close. During the press conferences this week, Justin Fields stated that he's tired of hearing we're close, we're close, we're close. But they are close.
The reason they're close, but they didn't win is partly because of him.
Yep.
The nonsense that the quarterback isn't to blame after the quarterback was to blame for everything the previous 4 years sees a bias in my eyes I've never heard before. If you look at his numbers, Justin Fields is 4-13 as a starter. There's no excuses for anybody. But, that overthrow of the tight end stopped us from being a 3-3 football team. And if any luck, the way we played against New York, we should have won. So I see what we're doing here. But Justin, the reason you're tired of being close is because you failed to throw a pass that a 10-year-old could have thrown. And that's the bottom line. I've heard this nonsense. That tight end beat a linebacker by 3 feet. By 3 feet. And somebody's going, well, maybe he wasn't that fast. I go, are you kidding me? He baked that linebacker. It was over. And Mooney had a ball. It was over. So just execute. And I like the Bears within the 8.
Interesting.
I'm tired of taking this we're supposed to lose crap. What do the writers write? The writers in Atlanta got to be embarrassed. They were predicting doom. And look at the Jets. They beat Green Bay with a kid. With a kid. So I don't want to hear Justin's coming around. No, he's not. Prove to me you're coming around. Execute. Get the job done. Then I read Pro Football Weekly. I'm not Pro Football Weekly, Pro Football Focus. And then I read this thing called Reddit or something. They both got the Bears offensive line on passes in the top 10. Yeah. They say that there's a combination of things, and even Luke Getsy said it. Justin Fields should have 8 less sacks. You either got to throw the ball away or run. He laid it out. So there's room to be done by everybody. But the Bear offensive line, from what I'm hearing nationally, is a different take from what I'm hearing from the excuse makers here at Lake Forest and the media.
You're absolutely right, Mike. The ESPN stats says that the offensive line for the Chicago Bears is ranked 8th in terms of winning blocks on pass protection.
Get rid of the ball.
Right. The way they measure that is if you're holding your block for at least 2.5 seconds, that's considered a win. And so the Bears offensive line has the 8th best record at that.
And number 1 in running. They got one of the best lines in football, and they're getting maligned. You got to be kidding me. I want people, the media in Chicago, to start actually reading, researching. Quit going to Lake Forest, having a sandwich with the PR folks and getting the information. Actually do your homework, because you folks are not doing your homework.
Yeah, and it is difficult to agree with that statement when you look at the individual play of center Sam Mustipher, who has been so embarrassed on one-on-one pass blocking. But overall, as a unit, this offensive line has performed much better than Chicago Bears fans give them credit for.
And that's a great call by UL, as usual. By the way, the early Bear special, we're rolling right now, aren't we? It's like you wouldn't know it's 8:15 in the morning until I look at the clock and I go, it's 8:15 in the morning. Anyway, I watch football I watch every game. Every game. I got interest on a lot of them. Joe Burrows is under siege. Mitch Trubisky last week was under siege and hit a 3rd and 11. A 3rd and 13, and a 3rd and 15. Shut up about Mitch Trubisky. I don't care if he starts or not. He brought another team back and saved another coach's ass from another loss by going 9-12 for 144 yards. But they're all running around. It's not like there's like 7 or 8, I would say, quality, including Dallas, Philadelphia, offensive lines. But Justin Fields isn't the only guy that is getting chased around. Watch the highlights every single week, folks. It's not just us. It's almost every team in football that's got a Mustipher. But as a line, I think they've improved credibly, and I am not afraid of the New England Patriots. I'm not. I think the Bears know they can beat them. I think they know they gave Washington away. They gave that away. You don't score 234 yards on the ground and only score 7 points. You don't do that. That's on the whole offense. And I will continue. Yes, Ryan Griffin, good tight end. I love him. But I guess Cole Kmet might have been better over there, but I haven't seen Cole Kmet that wide open in a lot of situations. So, we all got to execute. But the quarterback's got to get better, because next year, if he doesn't improve, he's not going to be the quarterback next year. That's my opinion.
Again, Mike, I totally agree with you. There are offensive lines in the National Football League that make the Bears offensive line look like an all-pro offensive line.
Absolutely, Al.
It's not a one and only deal in Chicago where the offensive line has had mishaps. And you got to look closely. Look at what is going on in Green Bay.
Yes.
Which is always known to give Aaron Rodgers the best protection. They're a sieve right now. Poor Aaron Rodgers. I almost feel sorry for the guy. No, I don't.
I don't feel sorry for him, but I'll tell you this. I saw Zappy go in there, almost win the game. Young kid.
Yep.
Then I see the Jet kid come in. Okay. Trubisky was 1-4. That's an incomplete in my world. Cutler was 1-12. But the teams were a lot better. Green Bay's teams were a lot better. Well, there's no reason the Bears can't beat that team. None. None. There's no reason we can't. And if we were 3-3 and quit giving excuses for everybody, we'd be in the wild card hunt, even though we are still now. There's a lot of games left. I'm not giving up and giving it. Oh, didn't they know there's supposed to be a rebuilding year? That's what I got to listen to? Yeah, the Giants heard about that. Atlanta heard about that. You want me to bring up more teams that are doing better? I mean, come on. Let's quit having this excuse week every Monday or Tuesday. Excuses Justin didn't have time. And then you see these breakdowns. It says here Justin Fields with passes under 10 yards when he farts is 66%. I mean, knock the crap off.
I love it.
It's ridiculous. Just win the game. I'd be happy as hell if we won. Like I've told Aldo, we win that game against Washington 14-12. I don't care if he throws for 10 yards. We won.
Exactly.
But that escaped everybody. And now everybody's pissed. Oh, we got to be patient. What a bunch of saps Bear fans are. What a bunch of saps. And we got a good coaching. We got a good coaching staff. We got a good coaching staff, folks. Watch the players. Okay? We got a good coach. You got 234 yards rushing in a game? We got a good coaching staff.
Do you think there's been King Pookie Nation is in the chat, and he really likes to stick it to Ryan Poles. He thinks that Ryan Poles has not done enough to protect Justin Fields, to give him weapons. I'm speaking for King Pookie here. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what do you think about the new general manager of the Chicago Bears, Ryan Poles? You think he's done enough in his first year, or do you buy that, he only had limited resources, so we're going to progress?
Well, the limited resources thing, they decided maybe to sit on that $100 million. Now, how do you spend that $100 million? We'll find out next year about him. Ryan Poles is an incomplete to me right now, but I do like the product on the field. I like the attitude of the football team. And people try to, every time I bring up Mitch or every time I bring up the Bears suck, you just don't like Justin Fields. Are you kidding me? I took the Bears over 6.5. I should be halfway there with him at quarterback. I understood that. It's not about anything else but trying to win football games. And I think this coaching staff has put this team in a position to be 4-2. And it just didn't work out. Yeah. I mean, you got to watch the games, not go by what was supposed to happen. I mean, I'm hearing that they had no right to beat San Francisco. Well, did you watch the game? well, did you watch the game? Because another guy has come in and saved another coach's ass. His name is Jimmy G. They started an untried guy, Trey Lance, first game in a driving rainstorm on the road against a pretty good defense and running game. And they lost, and we're supposed to lose that game? Sorry. If you watch the game, the Bears won that game, and San Francisco couldn't do anything. If Jimmy G plays, I think they lose. I think that helped turn this team around to saying, if we can beat them, we can beat anybody. They just, as Justin Fields says, is tired of getting close. Okay? It's going to happen. Now, let's see what they do with the $100 million. Listen, folks, I don't care what you watch today. Aldo and I are not, you're not going to hear anything more honest about the Bears than what we're giving you.
There you go.
I've seen every team since 1962. This team should be 3-3 or 4-2, period. They just got to execute. So I'm not giving up on them. I think they could win this game, period.
I love it. I love it. John says that the Bears might be a team that's better equipped for November and December than September and October. They run the ball well. Only Philadelphia Eagles run it better. Good point, John.
I think it's a great point. John's one of our sharper guys. He's a Bear fan that understands that the Bears are back to playing what we've always loved, but we got away from. We tried to copy every other passing offense in football, and I think I'd rather be the best running team in football and throw in sparingly passes because he's not accurate. We know Justin Fields isn't accurate, and I don't think if you can't fix accuracy, I don't care how far you could throw. I don't care how. You got to be able to put touch on the ball. If you can't do that, there's going to be a lot of problems. Yet, with all these issues, we should be right there. And I think he's right. When the weather gets worse, nobody wants to be run at for 200 yards, but they don't know how to defend it. And I think that's what Getsy and this Bear coaching staff figured out. We're not going to pass with any of these teams. Let's try to be better at the run and force these teams into long extended games where it's maybe up to one possession. Because that's what that Bear game against Washington really mattered. One possession. That was it. That was it. The one play that's standing out in my mind, and maybe Justin will throw a nice touchdown to make me forget, is that tight end pass. I mean, talking off record, I've talked to some people said nobody should miss that pass. Nobody. So,
well, and Luke Getsy himself was asked that question in a press conference. He says, we just missed the pass. We just missed the pass.
That's all.
And that's all he said. And next stop.
You don't like Fields because of this. Or because no, he overthrew it. He's mad at himself. Justin Fields is honest. He said, I really bought some respect in the kid when he said 2 weeks ago, I played like trash. I played like trash. That's perfect. That means he's going back to work.
Right.
Just like we all do if we have a bad day. We go back and try to get better.
There you go. By the way, it keeps echoing in my mind the idea that maybe the Bears should do what New England did last season, which you brought up, that they ran the ball. The Patriots did 3 times in a game last season. I agree with you. Wouldn't that be outstanding if that happened Monday night? That would be a blast.
I wish they had one wishbone package to throw in just to freak out Belichick. Just have one play. Because I remember telling Ron Turner back in the day, for you folks that are a little young, he was the all OC. Mm-hmm. He's the guy that told everybody Steve Stenstrom was going to be a star. Okay.
Easy there, Mike.
He said that to me on the score. Stenstrom's got all the earmarkings of a star. Jigs was looking at me. I had a hammer. I was hitting myself in the head. But anyway, I told him. We have so much fun, and then we pass out after work. But BB says to me when I get back upstairs, she goes, "How'd the show go?" I go, "I don't know." Anyway, she goes, "What was your pertinent points?" I don't know. I told him, what you got to do is do a shotgun. But at the time, they didn't call it the shotgun, and nobody was doing it. Mm-hmm. I go, do a shotgun. Well, he goes, we're never going to do a shotgun. I go, okay, don't do a shotgun, and have your quarterback under siege as soon as he gets the ball. Because this offensive line we have here is a lot better than a lot of the offensive lines we've had, folks. Believe you me. And then like about 2 weeks later, the Dolphins are doing it. Then you see Atlanta doing it. Mm-hmm. I'm going, you see this? Jesse, you see this? Yeah, he goes, you told Turner to do that. A month and a half later, the Bears are in it. So I just want, the wishbone. I want shotgun. I prefer handoffs done from under center.
Yep.
I hate the shotgun with the handoff. I can't stand that. You got both guys back. But if you can read it, you could stop it.
Right.
It's just a bad deal. But I just think that I almost am tempted to take the Bears on the money line, and that's insane. But you're not going to lose. You're going to get plus money. I think it's plus like 1,000 or plus 800. Name me 10 players on New England. Mm-hmm. Name me 10. I could name you the whole roster on New England back 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. Name me them. I mean, you can't. I mean, so they're no better than us, man. It's all hype.
Yep. What do you think of the idea that if the Patriots win on Monday night, Bill Belichick will surpass George Halas as the most wins for an NFL head coach?
Yeah, I think he deserves it. He's a better coach than Halas was, but George Halas is a legend. Discovered the game. I mean, that's enough for that. They wear GSH on that sleeve for a reason. Mm-hmm. We don't have anything if we don't have George Halas. A great heck of a coach. The 63 win was sweet for him, no doubt, because they thought the game had passed him by, and maybe it had. But he had a great defense. But Bill Belichick, with all the titles, as many as Halas, but in a different era, is well deserving. And I think he's going to pass Shula eventually and stick around for that too.
I like what Jeffrey says. He says running from the shotgun is like putting ketchup on a hot dog.
Yeah. I remember. I mean, seriously, they called the signals and the guy's right next to you. I'd rather. I know Walter. I don't know if Walter. I think he did maybe do it with McMahon, run out of the shotgun, but Walter was always out of the eye with Suey in front of him. I don't know why more teams don't do that. Get a big bruising back. I know the Bears are trying to emulate Bear football, and I couldn't be happier. I'm almost at the point now where, I saw Milwaukee beat Golden State by playing not Golden State's game, not threes, get the big man underneath. They would have won 2 in a row if Middleton don't get hurt last year. I'm almost at the point where, hell with it, outdoor stadium in Arlington, in Arlington Heights with regular grass. Let's just go back and be the way we've been since the 50s. Zero weather in a brand new stadium, which won't happen. It's going to be a dome, and I get it. But that's the kind of football I was raised on. Was it always winning football? No. I think the perfect football was the 80s that we saw as Bear fans. That was perfect football. You have a great offensive line.
Yeah, I agree.
They couldn't get past. They couldn't get, they had to throw McMahon down after the whistle. To come up and throw him down.
Martin,
we're tired of not getting to you. We're going to kill you now. And they had the greatest rushing offensive tackle. I mean, and plus Jimbo Covert hardly, like he likes to tell me, it's a small sample, Mike. But Lawrence Taylor played against us 3 times and never got a sack.
That's
just
right.
a small sample. No, 3 games blocking Lawrence Taylor is not a small sample if you stop him from getting a sack.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, he was an animal, but he ran up against a bigger animal, Jimbo. And that was just great teams. And you know what? I could see a little bit of that. I just wonder. I think that $100 million's got to be spent right. Where are they going to spend it? Are they going to spend it on? You got to have a quarterback competition. It was a mistake not to do it this year. It was a mistake not to play Trubisky, and everybody else is finding out the starters a few years back in preseason because those teams are struggling, a lot of them now. Yeah. So hopefully we'll see where they spend. But I got a feeling they might be out in the free agent market for a QB next year too.
Well, we'll see. I'll tell you what. If you're in the market for a personal injury attorney, who do you go to?
I hit my, I don't know if I could get anything for it. My arm, you ever went to school when you were dozing off?
Oh, yeah.
The crazy bone. I wonder if there's a crazy bone clause with David Spade.
I don't know, but he's the best personal injury attorney you can find if you get injured at work. Listen to this commercial that Mike cut for David Spada many, many years ago, but it still applies today. Listen up.
If you're injured at work, don't try to be a hero and work in pain. Immediately tell your boss how you were injured and seek medical treatment. Then call my guy, attorney David Spada, to make sure that your rights are protected. David will fight for the payment of your medical bills, lost wages, and settlement. Insurance companies and employers have individuals representing their interests. Why not you? You must have an experienced attorney on your side. All fees are contingent upon your recovery. Call David Spada at 847-729-COMP. That's 847-729-2667.
I just realized I misspelled the word call on that graphic.
That's okay. You know what? Here's what I'm going to say. I was just gazing at it. If you sprain an ankle on the job, if you get in a car accident, if you open up the cabinets and plates fall on your head, maybe they were too close to the top, call David Spada. But as I was watching it, something really, really hit me as I was watching this commercial. You know what it was?
What was that?
I haven't billed him yet. I haven't billed him yet. I'm coming for you. We've been busy lately, but I'm coming for you.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we haven't been paid yet. A lot of work, baby.
That's right. Come on, David.
Yeah, don't make me take out a personal injury thing on you, David.
That's great. All right, let's talk some more football. But before we do, I want to share with you this from Taurine. He posted this earlier.
I love Taurine.
Yeah, he says the Bulls got smoked by 32 last night. I didn't realize the defeat was that big. I knew they lost, but oh my gosh, 32. Well, what do we have to root for here in Chicago? The Blackhawks are in like total rebuild, although they had a good game against the Red Wings the other night. But Chicago sports right now is not looking too good.
That's what I had the over in that game the other night. I almost took the Blackhawks, decided not to. They played well. They got a coach that looks like he's jut-jawed. Have you seen him?
He does, yeah.
He's like Clutch Cargill, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Give me the third line. The lips would move on. Jut-jawed. Okay? You don't mess with a jut-jawed guy.
No, don't.
There was a guy one time about 10 years ago in a bar. He kept staring. I go, why is this guy staring at me? Well, BB says he must know a yard. And then I saw, maybe I'll go ask him. Then I saw he was jut-jawed. I said, nah, just leave him alone.
Stay away.
You mess with, don't mess. The teams right now, the Bulls, it's all about ball. He's hurt. And then I'm watching another game the other night. Another ball kid is hurt. I mean, are you going to play? You guys going to get better? I mean, if without Ball, this team's nothing. Ball and Caruso, you need those guys. Without him, I predicted this team won't make the playoffs.
Ugh.
We're back to Paxson and Foreman with this guy AK came in. Oh, ooh, yay! And DeRozan's a heck of a player. Okay.
Yes.
And he's putting up stats when everybody's putting up stats.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But and Zach LaVine, what you give him this big deal, and he's hurt for the most part. I don't care. You sit out the first 2 games of the season and you only lost 1 to the Wizards by 2. There's something wrong there.
Yeah.
I mean, and I loved what Kevin McHale said. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. What is this knee management, load management crap?
Oh my
You either want to, you got to love the game. I loved playing. I loved competing. Half these guys, they pad each other's stats. I'll let you shoot. I'll let you shoot. They're worried about tanking in the NBA.
Yep.
And for the commissioner to come out, because there's this 7'4" kid that can shoot, for the commissioner to come out and say, we're watching everybody. What tells you the games have no integrity?
Yeah.
I mean, and the great Popovich, Coach Pop, what a knob job this guy is. You lose your Hall of Famers, and then you become crap. And now they're saying you're tanking, Mr. Honorable. What a piece of crap that guy is. I don't like him.
You know what? The league is in trouble when you publicly say, "Yeah, we're going to watch for teams that are potentially tanking." That is bad. Yeah.
Those are fixed basketball games that you have been betting on.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to pick the right side.
Mm-hmm.
But it's ridiculous.
Tori makes a great point here. We got the best medical technology of all time, and you're telling me guys can't play a full season when you have
a bunch of weenies. They're a bunch of hopeless haps.
Yep,
that's what they are. I mean, I watched Durant the other night. 25 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and people say he's one of the top 10 players of all time. I mean, are you kidding me? Bill Russell, John Havlicek, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael, they crapped bigger than him. I mean, my God. I mean, he's a good shooter, a good scorer. He had to go somewhere else to win a title. And Golden State, by the way, they lose Kevin Durant, they win titles without him. So I watch basketball. I'm watching the Pacers. I don't know one guy in the team. Nothing uglier than a 6'10" dude that weighs about 200 pounds squaring up from 33 feet and hitting the side of the rim. I mean, the other night I'm watching Indiana. God, watching Indiana. There's 7 shots from people I've never heard from. 0-7 from the 3-point line. Their first 7 shots were threes. It's just unwatchable sometimes.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, it's become a 3-point shooting league.
Oh, it's so ugly.
You know, and it's Curry who has been a master at it. So everybody's trying to replicate what he has brought to the league. And if you don't got a shooter like Curry, then don't do it.
Listen, I said that the Milwaukee Bucks, I proposed this 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Quit trying to be like Golden State. Nobody's going to be that way because there's no other Curry. Okay? So play inside. Play old school. And that's what Milwaukee did, and they finally beat him. Now, they lose Middleton, and he's hurt again. But when he got hurt, that was the end of him last year because that's the Greek Freak's right-hand man.
Right.
But that's the way to be, just like the Bears. The way to beat teams is by running. We're worried about throwing. He can throw long. Some guys can't. No, quit trying to be Mahomes. That's what the Bears are trying to be. That's what all these teams are trying to be. When everybody knows he's special, the way to win a championship is not the way we're doing it. We got a way to go, but with a pocket passer. I've said that, and I'll continue to say it. So you still need old school football. The Bears are finding it that way. And the Bulls have made the mistake the same way all these teams have by trying to play Golden State's game. Don't try to copy them. Try to go against them. Be anti-Golden State. Go inside. Play tough defense. Challenge their threes. That's all. The only way you can beat them.
Man, you're on fire.
We just go from sport to sport. Who's next? We did the Hawks. We did the Bears. Let's just do it.
Curling? You ever been on a curling match?
No, but I've seen it. There's a place called the Saddle and Cycle Club on Lakeshore Drive in Bryn Mawr. and they have an ice rink, and they also have a curling type of rink. And we saw when we used to rent the ice over there, and it's a great. I like watching it. I don't know what the Brooms are doing. They just,
Yeah, I don't know anything about the game, but I will sit there and watch
the thing going. The Broom thing. I don't know. Is it really making it that much of a difference?
It doesn't seem like it does, right?
It doesn't seem like it does anything. He's got the broom working, and the thing hits the back wall. What happened to the broom?
Would you ever try that? Would you ever like to play that? I would love
I'll
to.
try anything. You know me. I don't
There you go.
give a damn. I'll try anything you want. You want to play marbles? Let's play marbles. Want to pitch quarters? I'll pitch quarters. You want to jump over the third rail? You want to bet the Bears? Somebody asked me the other day, what's the most dangerous thing you've ever done? I said, well, I've done some dangerous things. What have you done? He goes, well, I've been rafting on the rapids. I go, wow. And he goes, I've also been to Vietnam. I got out of that. I go, that's great, Tom. Anything like that? I go, I was in the service, but I didn't have to go to Nam. I go, but I bet the Bears last week. He goes, hey, sorry, man. That's great.
I love it.
You got more guts than I ever thought. Thanks, man. Where would these leagues be without gambling? Where would they be?
Yeah.
And yet, most stations around the country, radio stations, will take the gambling money, but most of them don't have gambling shows.
That's weird.
We'll take your money. We really like that money, but most of them don't have gambling shows.
That is weird.
And that, to me, is going to be the next big thing, because you'll get more gambling money if you have more content that it's just do you want to make money or do you not want to make money?
Yeah. Fucheezy says the most dangerous thing he's done is divorce his ex-wife.
Well, that could be twofold. I always said, listen, I'm at the age. Look, my advice to anybody, and I could have been divorced 10 times. You find the right girl, but she's got to be able to handle things. She's got to be able to put her fist down every so often.
Oh, yeah.
She can't take it. You got to have a girl, because Aldo will tell you. He knows. He works with B, hand in hand on things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. She runs the show.
That's right.
That's it. She runs the show here. That the bill, the whole thing. She wants to do it because she wants to be solvent. Okay. She don't need me taking over. So, but I've always thought this. Every person I've ever seen I had two things said to me that stayed with me. One, every time I was around family back in the day, I'd hear the parents complaining about the kids. If I had to do it all over. Remember those days? Oh, if I had to do it all over, man, I wouldn't have a kid. I took that to heart. I mean, when you hear people screaming it, okay, you take it to heart. So I didn't do that. That's the bottom line. I didn't have kids. Okay. And that you just hear things. And the same goes for divorce. The divorce ruined me. Or, and everybody, look, I'm not casting like I said, I'm never been perfect. No man is, no woman is. But when 50%, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And then my brother's been through it. They have happier lives now because they got remarried. Aldo, the same with you. You pretend to be happy, and I pretend to be happy with you.
Got it. She's got all the passcodes to the bank accounts.
Yeah, that's what I do. I jump out of the bedroom in the morning, go yay, and then I just go, what's for breakfast? But it's better to work it out because all it's going to cost you is money.
That's right.
Divisiveness. You lose your children. Try to work it out if you can. If you can, I understand, but try to work it out, please.
Oh man, you ain't kidding. All right, let's give some gambling advice. I know Q from Cincy is like waiting with bated breath to.
How many handicappers you know, Q? Watts, how many handicappers you know down under? Torian, even Tooch. How many handicappers you know that on one night takes a hockey game, wins, takes a baseball game, wins, takes an NCAA football game, wins,
nice,
takes I will win the NFL game, wins, basketball, wins in one night.
Nice. Nice.
Now, this is a new week. Just because we passed the driver's test doesn't mean we can't go through a stop sign and get run over by a train.
I once passed the stop sign in my driver's test. The guy looked at me like, and he had these glasses like, that magnify his eyes. And so he's looking at me with his eyes like, oops.
I'm telling you, man. I hit a cone once. I go, who moved it? It was over there before.
All right. Well, Tooch just told us that today is going to be a tough day for handicappers.
It is.
Oh, interesting. You agree with that? Well, let's start with the Bengals game because that's the first one on my list. The Falcons are at the Bengals. The point spread is Bengals -6.5, and the money line is Bengals -303. They are the favorites to win. That's what I got anyway. And the over under 47.5. What are your thoughts on this game?
I'm going to take every game. I could lose every game. Just take the special ones that you think that I might be right on. This would be a one unit play if I was going to play it. Okay. Cincinnati minus the 6.5. Cincinnati has not played well yet. I got barbecued by them last week. I had the Saints +3, and they let a guy with 2 minutes left go down the sideline 60 yards, missed 2 tackles, and I lost the game by 4. So I lost by 1 point. Sometimes you need some luck. So I'll take Cincinnati 1 unit.
Cincy 1 unit. I got
you. I hate that guy sometimes, and then other times I like him. Depends if I'm with him. Depends if I'm against him.
There you go. All right, let's move to Dallas. This is a game that's really got my interest. It's the Lions at the Cowboys. The Lions were shut out. The high-powered Lions offense was shut out last week. They're now going to play that Dallas Cowboys tough defense. The point spread is Cowboys -6.5. The Cowboys are 303 favorites to win, and the over-under at 48.5. Your thoughts on this match?
I like Detroit getting the 6.5. Prescott coming back. Could be a little rusty. Don't forget that he's got some pressure on him because the team won almost every game except one with Rush at quarterback. Campbell is an early candidate already. I mean, there was much hope for him 2 years ago, but Campbell, the coach, his bravado, people liked him. He was a sideshow. He was Ditka-like, only Ditka started winning. And but they've been better with him. I think they could keep it within a number. Now, this is 1 unit. Now, I'll explain the 1 unit play. So far, 2 games, I've put a total of 2 units on the games. 1 each, 1 on Cincinnati and 1 on Detroit. And I'll explain why in a little bit.
Okay, well, and before we go on to the next screen, I got to share this from Q, who is a huge Bengals fan. He says I love my Bengals, but I'm going to take Atlanta with the points. I love it when fans of teams will bet against their own team because it's money above anything else.
I'm going to show something. I was undecided about this game, right? Hold on. I was there. See what says Q?
Q.
I got all sorts of checklists that I make, and I do everything in longhand. You guys are seeing my cheat sheet. I know you'll freeze it, but doesn't matter. But I got Q there. So for sure, I'm probably going the other way.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, we move now to Tennessee. The Colts at the Titans. Titans -2.5. That's the point spread. And the money line is Titans -149. That means you bet $10, you win $17.71. And the over-under, 41.5.
Yeah, you can take Indy plus the 2.5 or 3. Windy for another 1 unit play. Very frugal for these first 3 games. But I'll take them. Getting the 2.5. I mean, Frank Reich, usually around this time of year, the team starts getting better. For some reason, they struggle early, but I like Indy.
And I just want to add that as a prop bet, I've got Derrick Henry scoring a touchdown. He's getting, plus 125. The Jaguars last week the Colts rushing defense gave up 3 touchdowns last week to the Jaguars.
Very good.
Yeah, and so I think Henry's going to score a touchdown. That should be easy money.
Yeah, I am like I did the other night. I pick just the sides or the totals. I'm not a prop bet guy. I know a lot of people like prop bets. They can ruin you too. The teasers have been ruining people this year. I don't play teasers. I don't play a lot of pars, if you will. But I wish and I go on a lot of, I like to promote a lot of different gambling sites. Gambling Twitter, I wish there was a way to keep soccer bets out of there. Soccer sucks. I'll never bet on soccer. Ever. And I know people love it. Manchester, Liverpool. I know all the teams. But to me, I mean, it's just soccer. I just bet the main sports, the 4 main sports.
There you go. Packers at Commanders. Packers are -4.5, and their favorites to win at -227. That means you bet $10, you get $14.44 back. The over/under 41.5. Your thoughts?
2 units on Washington plus the 4.5. Chico Rivera, this is a do or die for him. They got a gift by beating the Bears. That was a gift. That was a gift. They know they were lucky. That was a gift. I'll say it again. That was a gift. But they got Tyler Heineke playing for him, who kept things close last year, covered a lot of spreads. I like him. I don't see the bravado from Aaron Rodgers, even when they were struggling in past years early, that I'm seeing now. I haven't seen it, so I'm taking Washington for 2 units.
Oh, nice. And I love that Commanders defensive line against that pathetic Packers offensive line. So that should be interesting. Next game, Bucks at Panthers. The Bucks are -13.5. The money line Bucks -667. That means you bet $10, you win $11.50 back, and the over/under is 38.5.
Well, what a dispirited bunch they must be after losing Christian McCaffrey, who I thought should have won a Heisman Trophy one of the 2 years he was All-American. He didn't do it. I know Fournette won 1 year. I don't know who won the other year. Doesn't matter. But that's got to be a gut-wrenching move. But Tampa Bay does not have Gronkowski. They have a horrible head coach. I thought Todd Bowles was horrible when he coached the Jets. I think that's been underscored that he replaced Bruce Arians. And they're a different football team. You also have Brady yelling at his teammates. Tom Brady's had a bad year. I'm a Tom Brady fan.
Yeah.
I don't mind yelling at teammates. I think Marino did it. Montana's done it. McMahon's gotten in people's faces, but in different ways. You know, Tom's going, let's go, you guys, let's go. I think he takes responsibility, but going to the wedding, not going to the walkthrough, going to Kraft's wedding, it just sends a bad message. Yep. And I think that I'll take 1 unit. I'll just take the points. Maybe they win 40-0, but that's a lot of points to be given anybody in the National Football League. And, there's still some guys on Carolina that got some pride. We'll see what happens. That Matt Rule signing has been a disaster, an absolute disaster. He'll be back in college,
Yes, he will.
Bad.
I'm sure he's been already interviewed for some jobs.
Absolutely.
Next game is Giants at Jaguars. Jaguars -3. Jaguars are also the favorites to win -175 on the money line, and the over/under 43.5. And by the way, I like the over on this game for my second and final pick. What do you think about this game?
I like Jacksonville -3. I know the Giants have had a great year. They'll continue to have a great year. Brian Daboll was a guy that I was hoping the Bears would get. That would have been interesting because he's a big fan of Trubisky's, but it shows me what kind of coach he is. He wanted Trubisky to come to New York, and the Giant management said, well, there's going to have to be a competition. And Daboll looked, and he said, okay. He told Trubisky that. Trubisky said, well, I'll go sign somewhere else. And he's done a great job with Danny Dimes. You don't know what plays are going to be called. I like a guy that confuses the opposition. He's done a great job, but I think 1 unit play here with Jacksonville.
Love it. Browns at Ravens. Ravens -6.5. The money line is -303. Ravens favorites to win, and the over/under 45.5. What do you think?
I'll take Cleveland plus the 6.5 in this game. I love Lamar Jackson. I really do. I don't think. And I may regret saying this, but I've been proven wrong before. I don't think he'll ever win a Super Bowl, not because of him. I think their head coach is vastly overrated. He has won a Super Bowl, but he's put that team in precarious positions at times. They lost a couple games. They've lost a game this year because of him. They lost 2 games last year because of him, John Harbaugh. But I'm going to take Cleveland for 2 units.
You're going to take Cleveland for 2 units. You love Lamar Jackson, but you're not taking him.
I don't love John Harbaugh.
I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
I
mean,
know.
I think Lamar Jackson's one of those guys, sort of like Big Ben.
Mhm.
Now that we've seen Tomlin in action with the quarterback disaster he's created, when you got a guy like that, it covers up a lot of ills. You know, I do know this: if we had Lamar Jackson on the Bears, we're 3-3 or 4-2. That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
That's my opinion. I don't care if you have nobody around you. This bull crap. If we have Lamar Jackson, we're a better football team.
No doubt about it.
Yep.
All right. Jets at Broncos. Russell Wilson, I believe, is not playing in this game this afternoon. 3:05 start in Chicago. Broncos -1. The Broncos are -118, the favorites to win, and the over-under is at 37.5. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, Denver, is it still -1? Because I thought I wrote down Denver's a 1.5 now getting, but are they still -1 on your card?
Well,
I got, because I think once they made the Russell Wilson announcement.
You're right.
Yeah. So I got Denver plus 1.5,
Yes,
one unit in this game. It's sort of weird. Only only 1.5 points they're getting without their quarterback.
It is.
I'm going to give it one unit play on the Denver Broncos.
All right, I like that. Texans at Raiders. The Raiders -7, and the Raiders also a -303 favorite to win. The over/under at 45.5.
That's Lovey, right?
That's Lovey.
And that's the overrated Las Vegas Raiders, right?
That's them.
Two units on Houston, because Lovey Smith, and Aldo knows this, is not a tanking coach.
No, he's not.
They come to play. Come to play. Even when he got fired, they won 10 games from the Bears. They come to play. I'll take Houston for 2 units.
I love that pick.
+7.
Seahawks at Chargers. By the way, I should not say that because every time I say I love a Mike North pick, he loses, which he reminds me of.
I couldn't feel my extremities. No. It don't matter. It don't matter. I went against the world with TCU yesterday, and look at my guy, Tooch. Who's put 3 money bags up? Now I'm really in trouble. Okay.
Seahawks at Chargers. Chargers at -5 and -250.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, the Chargers. Is that Seattle?
Seattle at Chargers. Yeah. Which is, I think, in LA. They move around so much. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, they're at home when they're on the road, or on the road when they're at home. 2 units, Chargers, -5.
Ooh, 2 units. Okay.
Right. I'm gonna probably lose 30 units, get threatening letters from Q. And
That's right. Chris Watts
know.
sending a hit squad from
That's right.
Chiefs at 49ers. This is the game of the week, according to many. Chiefs at -1, a point and a half, -138 to favorites to win, and the over/under 48.5.
This is the tough one.
Yes,
This is a tough one.
Yes, it is.
It's
at Candlestick. No, it's not Candlestick. It's whatever they call their stadium.
Got Mahomes. But then you got an Italian quarterback. And you got Andy Reid, who likes to eat steak. Okay.
And then you got the other guy who's a hot dog.
And then you got the Italian quarterback. Man, do I hate betting against Mahomes. And I don't care how bad his team is, but I'm going to put one measly unit on San Francisco. I hate Shanahan. I just can't stand him. I just think, you want to talk about nepotism and his dad. I mean, benching a guy that got you to the Final Four 1 year, okay, and get you to the Super Bowl another year, benching him for some unproven talent. Show me how stupid a man he really is. But we got that guy in, so I'll go 1 unit on San Francisco.
I love it. Steelers at Dolphins, Sunday Night Football. Dolphins -7.5, and they're also the favorites to win at -400, 45.5 over/under.
I got Miami. I got 1 unit against Miami. I just think they're a better football team. I know the kid's coming back to her. No matter what Mitch does, there's some confusion in the locker room now. We got Pickett concussed, but so is this kid Tua. And this kid Tua is like 1 hit away from being out for the year.
Yeah, it's scary.
He was like me in 7th grade. he got up after that hit, and I guess where am I? I mean, and they said, you're back where you were last year for the second year in a row. So, but I'm going to take 1 unit on Miami. I just think, maybe Mitch's calling is to be the guy that comes in and wins games. Maybe he gets with Carolina or some team that's got better football teams, a better football personnel, or maybe better coaching. I don't know, or they need a better quarterback. But I just think right now it would be tough to go down there and win. Now, that's only 1 unit play for me, though, at Miami.
All righty.
See, I got the Bears, and I got Miami. See, Trubisky's on Pittsburgh, and Fields is on the Bears. Don't correlate the quarterbacks. Look at the teams that they're playing.
There you go.
Look at the dangers. That's what you look at.
So you've got the Bears on an upset.
And I'm going against Pittsburgh. How does that happen? Because I'm not biased. I see what I see, and I see what I don't see. And I don't see Pittsburgh winning this game.
All right. Well, and quickly explain those units for us, and then we'll make way for the Bullfight Tailgate.
1 unit would be like 100. 2 units like 200. Sometimes I have a 3 unit play. Okay. So like right now I have 1 unit on Carolina, 2 units on Cleveland. And units could be like 1 unit could be $10, 2 units could be $20. Doesn't matter what it is. I got Cleveland for 2 units, Jacksonville for 1 unit, Washington for 2 units, Indianapolis for 1 unit, Detroit for 1 unit, Cincinnati for 1 unit, Houston with Lovey for 2 units, Denver for 1 unit without Russell Wilson, 2 units on the Chargers. They're a weird team. 1 unit on San Francisco, 1 unit on Miami, and now the Bears.
That is how you manage your bankroll by Mike North. It is great advice. Don't go in there, just throwing.
Don't go willy-nilly. Although I will go 50 units on the Bears. Okay. I got 2 units on the Bears.
2 units on the Bears. Holy cow!
They're getting 8 points. My God. Wait a minute. Am I missing something? Is Teddy Bruschi still with them? I mean, where is everybody? Is Rodney Harrison still playing for him? I see him on TV.
Oh, that's amazing.
I go, we're in trouble, B. We're playing New England. Why are we in trouble? There's Teddy Bruschi. Wait, he's in a suit. What the hell's going on? Gronk's wearing Skechers? I mean, Brady's throwing a head of lettuce at the wife. She's throwing a knife back at him. They're gone. Robert Kraft's getting married again.
Oh my goodness!
Wait, this girl, she looks so young. She looks like she got married in her communion dress. For God's sake! Wow.
Oh man, what a riff! That was amazing.
Oh man, God, we're past time.
We're past time, and so it's the Barfly Tailgate Show next. Mike North, I love you. We'll see you here next week, same time, same channel. Bye bye.
We'll talk later.
Thank you.